Dan Radiostyle. Hope everybody out there is having themselves a good time, as always, right? Now, it has been a while since I've done one of these shows. It's been a long while. A lot of reasons, a lot of things going on. Life was, or is, in transition right now, and I will get a little more into that as we get down the road. But certainly was that, and then I had laryngitis for a week, which was part of the excitement. So a lot of good things. We're calling this What Not to Do. Now, I just want to do a quick preamble. Normally, I don't like doing these kinds of shows. I don't like talking about things that are negative. I don't like, because, and the reason being, and this is why I'm doing this show, frankly, is what we think about and talk about and set our mind on is what we're putting energy towards. It's what we're helping manifest. It's what we're helping create. Now, there's levels of creation within your own personal life. There's levels of creation within a family structure, levels of creation within cities, states, countries, outward, world, right? The whole planet. So when we are trying to make a difference in our own lives, in our families, in our cities, in our world, we really need to be mindful of what we're sending out. There is no talking about things that are negative and expecting that to create any sort of more positive scenario. By talking about anything, you're putting more energy towards it. You're helping create that or possibly sustain that type of scenario. So I'm bringing this up because I'm kind of wanting to put a little understanding around the whole concept of what negative thinking is, why I think it's an issue, and then some of the places where if we're really going to truly try to get serious about making a change or a difference in our lives, in our worlds, and all these kinds of things, these are just things I kind of want to bring some attention to and hopefully give you more power to create changes more rapidly and certainly in the direction you'd like to do. So it's a very huge thing. Now, there's a very, very awesome quote by Nietzsche, or Friedrich Nietzsche, I guess, if we're going to say his whole name right, that I think is sort of apropos. It can mean a lot of things. I've definitely found some funny interpretations of what this means. But to me, this is kind of more in line with what it talks about. And then I'll give my quick understanding as to what I believe this means. Doesn't mean I'm right. I'm just saying this is what it means to me. But whoever fights monsters should see to it that in the process he does not become a monster. And if you gaze long enough into an abyss, the abyss will gaze back into you. What this means to me is when you focus on something, you sort of become that something. So when you're trying to fight monsters, it is wise to be careful not to become that which you're focusing your energy on. And the same said about the abyss. When you stare into the abyss, you're almost becoming the abyss, and the abyss is almost becoming you. Now, of course, it's Nietzsche. It's meant to be sort of philosophical in its own right. But to me, that's kind of what it means, is we become what we focus on. So when you're focusing on something negative, you are truly becoming that something that's negative. So I guess the couple examples that I'm thinking of, ill health, right? A lot of us are worried about our health. I was going through this whole laryngitis thing, and what I actually found to be the most helpful in getting over it, still sounds to me like my voice isn't totally there, but whatever the case is, what really made the biggest difference for me is to do things that were benefiting my health, certainly, and just generally speaking, I try to do that in all cases, but it was really not thinking about it. It was not doing stuff because I was sick. It was just really letting go of the fact that I was ill and letting health come. I knew I was going to become healthy. There was never a question in my mind that that was going to happen. So by stopping the micromanaging, by letting it occur, I was actually able to hit health much quicker at that point. Because initially, everyone and their mother was giving me advice. Make soup. You've got to do the zinc. You've got to vitamin C. You need to rest. You need to whatever. Boil ginger and drink that tea. All sorts of crazy stuff I heard. Some of them probably works too. Don't get me wrong. It's crazy in the sense of it's just, everyone's got an idea. But when you're sponsoring thought behind doing any of these things is because I'm not well, then that's really kind of what you're sending back out to the universe. I'm not well, therefore I'm doing this behavior in an attempt to make me well. But you're already on the I'm not well portion. So by letting go of that and just eating healthy, making sure I was getting enough sleep, just taking care of myself in general, I was actually able to kick this thing a lot quicker, and it made a big difference by just getting off the thoughts. Same with kind of some of these other changes. And I just don't want to get into it because some of the people that listen to this show are a little too close to what's going on in my life right now. So I need to kind of like wait for some things to kind of iron themselves out, and then I'll happily talk about it. Really awesome things are going on right now, and it's a very exciting time. I got to be honest. And some major changes are coming, and I did everything leading up to it. I've put it all out there. It's incredible. And there's one other area that I know is also improving, and I've already seen the improvements coming. And a lot of it, like when you're really, really far off track, sometimes it takes a little while to slowly circle ourselves or get ourselves kind of turned around. So sometimes it might seem like it's not happening quick enough, but if you really look at what's going on around you, you'll start to actually see, well, that was an improvement. This isn't nearly as bad as it used to be, and here I am actually giving myself a chance at success. I'm being very non-specific for many, many reasons. But some other things that we sometimes focus about, accidents, right? We like to think of be safe when you're out there and you get worried about your kids or you get worried about whoever. I hope they're okay. I hope they're fine. I hope they don't get any accidents. I hope they drive safe. Right? We're putting energy out around that concept. Just know they're safe. Know they're always in God's hands. Know they're always protected. And really work on that level of faith we have to know that you're doing the best you can. You taught the best you can. You sometimes just got to let life happen to those around us. And you can't micro-focus. You can't micromanage. You just worry about what you can worry about and what you can fix in your own lives. Tragedies is one of the best ones. Now, this is kind of the whole point of why I did this. There's been a lot of stuff on the news. I don't necessarily want to get into specifics again because by me talking about it, I'm actually putting more energy towards these horrible things. But there are injustices that happen in the world. And I want to say and this is really hard for a lot of people to truly wrap their heads around. If you want to make an injustice go away, you have to stop thinking and talking about that injustice. That is the only way you can make an injustice go away. Now, if it's not in your life and not in your world, that is pretty much away. It can still exist in other parts, in other places, and other people's realities. There's really, I think, kind of a multiverse that we're a part of. Many, many different lives, paths, intersecting planes of existence, if you will. We all have our own little worlds that we live in by ourselves, unless we're with others, but even then, we're just sharing space. So to make something leave your existence, because that's all you can control is your existence, is to stop thinking about it. If you would like to see more of something in your existence, keep thinking about it, keep talking about it, keep working towards it. But truly, to make something go away, all the talking of it will never, ever make it go away. As long as you keep talking about it, it will keep existing for sure. So news is one of the things that when people really get serious about trying to get more positive stuff in their life, news is actually one of the things that you kind of got to be able to step away from for a while until you can get your mind straight. Then you can kind of watch it, but it's still planting seeds in your consciousness. It's planting ideas in your mind that wouldn't have been there prior. So sometimes not listening at all is really the better choice. So how do we make a change? How do we make things go away in our lives? We think about the things we'd like to experience. In the case of your child being healthy and happy, know that you're going to imagine them coming home. Imagine them pulling up in the driveway home. Like that's all you really need to imagine is the outcome you wish to see. Leave all the other details away. Don't think about them. Don't worry about them. Think about what you wish to experience. In the case of maybe some of these injustices, really thinking of a world where there's no injustice, you're going to create injustice. But thinking of a world where you're happy, where maybe mistreatment of women, just to use one that I hate talking about something, but by focusing on just being healthy, happy, safe, like don't even think about that concept at all, and you're actually doing a lot more towards removing those types of injustices from the world. So trying not to become the monster when we're fighting the monster, and certainly being aware of the fact that what you're staring at is staring back at you. I hope this kind of makes sense. I wanted to cover what not to do in a slightly more specific way, but truly this is why I don't generally do that, is because I'm putting energy towards it. So I'm going to have to do my own form of meditation after this, because by announcing this, I'm not certainly helping anything. But I also wanted to give true examples and hopefully get a little bit of understanding as to why it really isn't a good idea to think about things you don't wish to experience. And that's why you create that experience. So if you want to make changes, focus on where you're going. It's how the law of attraction works. It's how the law of one works. All these things really talk about what we're putting out is what's coming back. And there's a great number of books out there. The Secret, that's another good one. But there's a lot of great books. Conversations with God, something. Neil Donald Walsh really starts to get into some of those thoughts. Celestine Prophecies has some great stuff. Way of the Peaceful Warrior even kind of goes down some of that with Dan Millman. Some great books out there that really made a difference in my life, certainly growing up and growing into this. But Law of Attraction and The Secret were very, just very spelled out, very black and white, very, here you go. And so hopefully this helps. It's Dan Radiostyle. Again, we're going to be trying to do more shows. Like I said, I've just been under the weather and everything else under the sun. So it was finally good to finally get back to being able to do this and just getting out from underneath all this transition I'm going through, which has been very, very time consuming. So I hope everyone out there's good. I miss you all, and we'll get back into more of these. Thanks.